Well, good morning, everyone. Good Vibes fans. Welcome to episode 15. No, 14, my bad. 14 of Good Vibes, season 3. So, on today's episode, I have my coworker and a NFL legend and UVA legend, Ray Roberts. So, Ray, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for that awesome introduction. Everything was right except for the NFL legend part. Definitely a UVA legend, but just another dude that played in NFL. But my name is, like you said, Ray Roberts. I'm the director of urban development for Unified Champion Schools with Special Olympics. I'm going on, I guess I'm into my fourth year now, and my job is to get create strategy and create the relationships that allow us to implement our programming in urban school districts around the country.
Great. So, I know the NFL legend things, but technically, you are still technically in the top 10 Thanksgiving moments for the NFL still. So, we still technically makes you a legend via that way, kind of, But tell
Well,
us
you
a
know,
little bit. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about your NFL and EVA career, and you can talk a little bit about that as well. What I just said.
oh, okay. Well, actually, I grew up in North Carolina and was a pretty good high school football player there, and had actually committed to play football verbally at Tennessee because they're actually closer to where I grew up than UVA is. But I had canceled a recruiting trip to UCLA, and I filled it with Virginia. And I went up there and just had an unbelievable experience and really connected with the guys on the team, and just felt like the culture was a better fit for me there. And so I ended up going to UVA, and it was at a really cool time because UVA was like on a cusp of kind of elevating the program. They had kind of been at the middle to the bottom of the pack in the ACC for a long time, and so the cool thing during my career there, along with some other great players that were able to recruit to the school, we were able to elevate our program. So we won the first ACC championship for Virginia football. We were ranked number one in the country for about a month at one point. And so we really elevated the program. So that was a really cool part. And during my career there, I was a three-time All ACC player. I was twice voted the top offensive lineman in the league. And I also was at one point, at one year, I was the only player to make the All ACC team. I was a first team All American, and I made the All ACC academic team. So the All ACC academic thing was huge for me because academics was always a struggle for me at UVA until I kind of figured out what I was doing and how to study and how to manage my time. So that was a pretty big accomplishment for me. And so then from that, I ended up being the 10th pick in the draft to the Seattle Seahawks, and had a 9-year career in the NFL. Enjoyed every single minute of it. Even the year my first year in the league, Jerry, we were 2-14 in Seattle. It was tough sledding. Like we won like our second game of the season, and then we didn't win again until like week 13 or something like that. So it's a lot of losing in between, but enjoyed every minute of it. So I had a great career. Played in Detroit as well. Was a captain of those teams when I was there. And one of the responsibilities as a captain is that you go out for the coin toss. And so my legacy to me to the NFL was forget the year, but we're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in on Thanksgiving Day, game winning overtime. We go to the side to the middle of the field for the coin toss, and to this day, like I still don't know 100% what happened, but I do know that I think if I get it correctly, it may be the opposite way, but I think Jerome Bettis said heads, and it or he said tails, and it came up tails, but the referee thought he said heads, and so they ended up giving us the ball. And if you ever when you watch the video, I watch it every Thanksgiving, by the way. Even though I have it saved on my phone, I still watch it on the replays every Thanksgiving. But if you watch the replay, Jerry, you'll see I kind of stepped forward and I pointed like this because I was about to correct the referee. And I was like, nah, he said, and then I just stopped. And then I said, we'll take the ball, and then ran off the field. And so it became legendary as a replay, but it also became a legacy because they totally changed how you do the coin toss now. Back then, you called it while it was in the air, and so when Phil Lockett flipped the coin, it was coming back towards him. And so as he was trying to get out of the way, I think he misheard what Jerome Bettis say. So nowadays there's two referees up there, and you have to call it before they flip it. And
Hey,
so that's my legacy to the
yep, rule changer. We did that.
NFL.
So anyway, so it's actually I do appreciate actually having you on the show because you and I have been great co-workers, and also we're both also the co-hosts for Sports Shorts. So we're hoping to get that back up and running. But that's an amazing product we came up so far. It's just timing and everything. But now we have plenty of material to work with. But going into what are some of your supportive and appreciative vibes to people, Ray?
Well, I think I kind of shared a little bit on our team meeting this week. With all the social justice stuff that has been going on, just the way that the team rallied around me in it. So like I had a very emotional response to the things that were going on, and it was hard to kind of get things done because I couldn't focus. But other people on the team stepped up for me, and whether it was like helping me get the work done or just being supportive. Like you're sending me the little gifts, little messages and things of inspiration that I watched every day, and it kind of put a smile on my face. And it just to know that somebody else is thinking about you in that time is a big deal. But then we had people like Kate Lee and Elise and Caroline that were really diving into what was happening at that time and understanding how I was engage in it, and so they were also supportive as well. So the things that I'm super thankful for as it relates to work is just having teammates that care. It's not always like that. Even on sports teams, like everyone thinks it's like sports teams are like the holy grail of teamwork and all that kind of stuff, but there's some people that are kind of individualized in it too, and they're not in it for the same reasons that you're into it for. So sometimes that type of stuff doesn't happen. But then the other things that are, I'm just thankful for my kids. My kids are thriving in this situation. I have one that just finished my oldest, Reagan, just finished a college program for computer coding. And then my middle son is finishing his fourth year at UVA. And then my youngest son is going into 10th grade. And so just to be able to have tight relationships with my kids and talk with them about any and everything and laugh and joke and all that kind of stuff, it's always thankful to have family around.
Oh yeah, I agree to that. With my bird down in Texas A&M holding up well, and having my sister upstairs while I'm working, it's kind of fun too. So actually, going into like some positive vibes, I know that you appreciative of the Unified Champions, our team, the Unified Champions schools team is one amazing piece, and your family as well. But is there anyone else you want to give sort of positive vibes to, or any positive vibes to people?
Well, I mean, even though it's this is kind of I think gonna air like maybe around Thanksgiving, or is it on Friday?
It's
Can't
gonna be
remember.
airing Friday. Now.
So today is Veterans Day, and so I've had this real new interest and desire to want to know even more about my grandfather's service. And so today just kind of gives me an opportunity to think about him more and just be thankful and appreciative of his service to our country, so that I could be doing the things that I'm doing today. And he was a great man. He's a great grandfather. I love spending the night at his house and hearing all the stories and seeing all the different um, uh, things that he had, items that he had from the war, from when he was in the military and those types of things. So today it's just been a real reflective day about him that brings me a lot of joy. Just knowing that he did what he had to do so that I can be able to do what I'm doing.
Oh yeah,
So I would love to just give him a shout out for that.
yeah, and I can relate because I had both my grandfathers serve. My grandpa Lewis served on the home front. Never actually saw combat. I had my mom's uncle, who I call Uncle Albert. Anyway, he was actually working in the Dex
Mm.
office of the 8th Army Air Force in Britain. But my only real grandfather who actually relatively saw combat was my grandpa Jerry, serving aboard USS Franklin CV-13 in the Pacific here. So yeah, the ship that wouldn't die is its nickname, but like you could look up on the saga app. But thank you so much for being on here, Ray. And so you want to do that virtual fist bump now? So I'm ready to go when you are. Ooh,
Booyah!
hell yeah. So thank you so much, Ray. And I have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great Veterans Day if you after seeing this video anyway. But hope you have a great week. Get ready for Thanksgiving as well. So thank you, everyone. So bye, everyone.
See you guys. Thanks for having me, Jerry.
No problem, Ray.